And staying at the border, the Biden administration is considering restarting a controversial policy that would allow border officials to hold migrants who enter the country illegally with their children. The policy was lifted 2 years ago by President Biden, and since then, border officials have been releasing families into the U.S. with ankle monitor systems and other trackable devices. The potential change comes as the Biden administration prepares for the end of the Trump-era policy, Title 42. In a statement, the Department of Homeland Security said, quote, "No decisions have been made as we prepare for the Title 42 public health order to lift. The administration will continue to prioritize safe, orderly, and humane processing of migrants." NBC News White House correspondent Carol Lee joins us now for more on this. Carol, good morning. So I think the biggest question here is, why is the Biden administration considering this policy again, even though they stopped implementing it 2 years ago?
Well, it all has to do with this lifting of Title 42, which is expected to happen on May 11th. The administration has been trying to figure out how to deal with this because there's expected to be an influx of migrants at the border, and that's a huge problem for the administration. So what they're doing is looking at restarting this controversial policy that that President Biden ended at the start of his administration. It detains immigrants and their families at the border for temporarily instead of releasing them into the U.S., known as family detention policy. Now, two sources familiar with the matter tell NBC News that the White House and members of the Department of Homeland Security have been discussing this policy in recent days, having multiple meetings where they're looking at what this might look like, how it would work, and things like that, although no decisions, we're told, have been made.
And Carol, what is at stake here, both for the Biden administration, but beyond the policy, the people, right, for the migrants and the migrant families who are crossing the border?
Yeah, that's a great question, because this is going to really change for migrants coming across the border. And whereas they would normally be, in current policy, be released temporarily into the U.S. with ankle monitoring, this means that these families will be detained at the border, as has been the case in previous administrations. Is the policy that was started by the Obama administration in 2014. It was continued by the Trump administration, and then it was obviously reversed when President Biden took office. And one of the reasons he said that he was going to reverse that policy is because he wanted to have a more humane immigration policy. So for the president, what's the risk there for him is politically, this is a big reversal. Members of his own party are not happy about this. And the further risk, is that he would take a step like this, and yet it wouldn't resolve the problem.
Definitely a major reversal, and it's something the White House addressed, the possibility of this policy returning during yesterday's press briefing. Let's take a listen.
We've been very clear on how we're looking to how the president wants to move forward, and he's been clear from the start, from the beginning of his administration, by putting forth a comprehensive immigration reform. And his approach has been making sure that we expand legal pathways for asylum seekers, limiting illegal immigration, addressing root causes, and also increasing border security. A lot of people have compared what the president is doing as either extending what Trump did or being very Trump-like, and I just want to make sure that that is not what is happening here. What we saw in this last administration, the administration before us, was a gutting of the immigration system.
So that's White House Press Secretary Karin JeanPierre. So walk us through how Biden's immigration goals stalled in Congress. Has he been able to accomplish what he set out to do at the beginning of his term? And also, obviously, this move, as she addressed, has Biden being compared to former President Trump in some instances. So how are Democrats responding to that?
Well, on your first question, the president's goals for immigration policy have gone nowhere in Congress. He put forward a comprehensive immigration plan at the start of his administration. Democrats had control of the House and the Senate. That policy went nowhere, and it's increasingly unlikely to go anywhere now that Republicans have control of the House and we're heading into an election year. As for, whether Democrats and immigration advocates, how they've reacted, look, immigration advocates are saying this is Trump 2.0. This is a terrible policy. This is not what President Biden said he would do. You can see there the White House is very sensitive about being compared to former President Trump's immigration policies. And so at the same time, you hear Democrats, the head of the Homeland Security Committee, the top Democrat there in the House, said that he was alarmed by that the administration was even considering this policy, and that calling this cruel and harmful to children, and additionally that it doesn't work. Now, the White House is sort of fueling this by not confirming or denying that these discussions discussions are happening. From Karin JeanPierre, the press secretary, wouldn't do that. And so this is still hanging out there. And although the administration says, according to our reporting, that no decisions yet have been made.
A lot to watch from the White House. Carol Lee, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.